I know, I don't know where you are on the Charlie Kirk thing, and I don't want to get too deep into that. If that's not your thing, it's not my thing. But I will say that, there is evidence that Charlie Kirk himself was starting to question aspects of America's relationship with Israel. And when you have a Christian fundamentalist conservative of that stature starting to question, that's extraordinarily problematic for Israel. This is why Netanyahu had to come out and start screaming at the top of his lungs, I didn't kill him, we didn't kill him. Not because there's any evidence he did, but he recognizes that the narrative, Israel's losing control of the narrative, and that it is having a fundamental impact on a critical aspect of the American demographic, these Christian Zionists, Christian fundamentalists who believe in Israel needing to exist in order to facilitate the rapture.
Yeah, and I want to come back to the Charlie Kirk part in just a sec. I want to pivot to the Charlie Kirk part here as well. Scott, the big thing that we've been talking about on this show is that there has been a lack of transparency from the FBI, right? Like the stories that they have given us about what happened to Charlie Kirk, about Tyler Robinson, these stories don't add up at all. And so even for me, someone who has no weapons experience, I'm just sitting there thinking, so he disassembled this gun, put it back together, and then disassembled it again and put it in his book bag because he doesn't have the gun with him when he's getting off the roof of the building. And then apparently put the gun back together in the woods, still had time to change clothes 3 times. None of this stuff it just doesn't make any sense. What do you think happened to Charlie Kirk?
I think he was murdered. And I think he was shot. Other than that, I just don't know. I mean, look, aren't you at all worried about the grammatically perfect confession? I mean, my wife is the furthest thing from a conspiracy theorist. She is as grounded can be. And she read that and she went, No, not only is it grammatically perfect, but just how ridiculous can it be? Hi, I've committed the perfect crime. Nobody will ever find out until I confess right here into every detail that I've done. Really? And where's the forensics on this? I mean, again, okay, so you have this text confession. Has anybody run the forensics on that? Done, just basic digital investigation 101? What's the point of origin? How did it go? What are the different IP addresses to link it up to prove that it originated at this point and finished at this point on this timeline? They say, where's the bullet? They've cleaned up the crime scene. They've literally ripped it up. Where's the bullet? To me, you put yellow tape around that thing and you go through with metal detectors and everything to find the damn bullet, because you need to match the bullet to the gun, or else you don't have a murder weapon. You have an exhibit. But until you can say this gun fired this bullet, who hit him here and it exited here and we found the bullet there. And, this is basic forensics 101. None of it's happening. And the body's already in the ground. Where's the autopsy? Where's the drawing that you always get? Here's the body. We have an entry wound here. We have an exit wound here. Where's this? Where is all this data? There is something fundamentally wrong about this whole thing. I'm not saying I know who killed it. I'm not saying I know where the assassin was. I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is I don't know. But there are things that normally happen in an investigation that aren't happening or don't appear to be happening. Where's the damn bullet? And if you don't have the damn bullet, why did you clean up the crime scene? Because that's not allowed to happen. And it happened.
Well, why was someone allowed to move the camera and take the film out of the the SD card out of the camera that was sitting right behind. Again, to your point, like that is a crime scene. Like you can't just remove like evidence from the crime scene. Why was Charlie Kirk put into a car and not an ambulance? Why wasn't there an ambulance?
Don't know. These are just all very good questions. Why did his security team take control of the body? Where were the police? To have an event like this, there have to be a certain number of paramedics on scene, depending on the size of the crowd. It's just natural. You have people roaming there. You have people there. For him, if he has a security detail, which he apparently had, there needs to be a paramedic aspect to that, a medical aspect. There needs to be, again, having done security details, what's your evacuation plan? Okay, Charlie, let's say there is trouble. How do we evacuate you? To where? If Charlie is injured, where is the ambulance? What is the evacuation plan? How do we get the ambulance out to the hospital? Which hospital are we going to? Have we done a survey of the hospitals? Is Charlie having a heart attack, taken to a cardiology center, a gunshot wound, boom, a stabbing? I mean, have we, these are the basic things that are done when you do a security detail of this nature. And yet what you end up having is people panicking over his body and then picking his body up and moving it to a private vehicle. I'm with you on this one. I just don't understand anything about this. And the more this investigation proceeds, the less confident I am that they're going to actually make it. This kid's got to go to trial. And that's where a good defense lawyer will be moving. Now, if this kid dies before trial, if this kid pleads guilty to preclude a trial, then we end up not getting any of these questions answered. But if this kid goes to trial, the government better have an airtight case.
And no lawyer. Where is Tyler Robinson's lawyer?
I don't know. There's another. What the hell's going on here?
This is wild, because for those who don't know, like if you don't have a lawyer, then you will be, the state will appoint one for you.
You have to have a lawyer right now because there are things happening right now that he must have legal counsel. So there must be a court appointed lawyer. You can't keep this man detained this long without legal counsel.
Yeah. It was kind of weird. I saw his first appearance where the judge was like asking him questions. And I said, why is he answering these questions without a lawyer?
Yeah. And the judge should not allow any questioning without a lawyer. Meaning as soon as he shows up, who's representing, who's your legal counsel? I don't have counsel. This proceeding is terminated. Why doesn't he have counsel? We can't proceed. And if he comes back here, at some point in time, the judge dismisses because it's like, we got a constitution. I'm with you on this one.
It's just very weird.
I stayed away from the whole Charlie Kirk thing just because, I'll just be honest. Other than enjoying trying to dissect his videos, because even though I disagreed with about 90% of what he said, I got a kick out of the way he humiliated college students until I realized it was just all a setup, that it was just one big scam. And the reality is, in my life, the things that I do, the things I talk about, Charlie Kirk never factored into anything. Charlie Kirk didn't factor into any aspect of my reality. I'm sad he got shot. I don't believe anybody should be shot for what they say. I'm very sad for his wife and his two kids. I'm sad for his friend and his family. It's tragic. I'm not going to sit here and belittle his death. It's an absolute tragedy what happened. It has a chilling impact on free speech, both in terms of the notion that you get shot for saying something that people disagree with, and the fact that the people who claim to be Charlie Kirk's supporters are out there shutting down and deplatforming anybody who speaks ill of Charlie Kirk or somehow exercises their free speech in a way that they disagree with. But one of the reasons why I don't pay too much attention to Charlie Kirk is I didn't pay any attention to him when he was alive. I mean, it's not like I woke up in the morning and go, well, I wonder what Charlie Kirk is up to today. I mean, I knew who he was, but when I talk about Russia and Ukraine, Charlie Kirk doesn't factor into this at all. When I talk about Israel and Gaza, he doesn't factor in. Charlie Kirk was a domestic political phenomenon with limited reach. People were very passionate about him, but he didn't move the needle in the real world, at least the real world that I occupy, at all, which is why I'm hands off on this, because this thing has gone, as you said, it's just gone crazy. It's gone down the rabbit hole. And if I jump in on it, I just don't know where it's going.
Well, that article from the articles from the Gray Zone have been, I think, very revealing. Like I told my audience, you never know what's happening behind the scenes, right? So Candace Owens has come forward and said that he was going to mass. All these videos start to resurface of him questioning some of the things that Israel is doing, questioning if they stood down on October 7th. And for those who are not aware, Charlie Kirk was the one who basically got out the youth vote for the Republican Party. Like that was his role, going to those colleges and recruiting younger people, which did help Donald Trump. Like a lot of younger people did come out and vote for Donald Trump in 2024. But it's like, so if someone like him was to start to question Israel, that would be
a big deal.
Would be devastating to
a 100% big deal. And his audience is Christian conservative, Christian Zionists, people. I mean, there's an inherent contradiction between being MAGA, which Charlie Kirk apparently was, and being a Christian Zionist, Israel first. Because again, I've watched some. Charlie Kirk was talking apparently to a panel of his supporters, or his sub team of influencers, because you got Charlie Kirk at the top of the pyramid, and then you had these sub influencers out there, these people who were doing similar podcasts, related to Charlie Kirk, etc. And almost all of them went, "Oh no, big supporter of Israel, love Israel, Israel first, Israel good, but we don't like the taxpayer money going that direction. We need to invest in America today." So there's an inherent contradiction between we support Israel and we don't want any money going to Israel. And Charlie Kirk was starting to run into this contradiction and was convincing enough of these youth to say, no, we don't want the money going to Israel. We want the money coming here to America. Enough to apparently register in the pro-Zionist camp. And if what Max Blumenthal is reporting is true, it's dynamite. It's dynamite. The concept of this, was it Altman, this billionaire holding this thing in the Hamptons where Kirk came in and got yelled at?
Bill Ackman,
yeah. I mean, it just underscores what we've all been led to believe is the absolute total control that Zionist money has on American legacy media and American politics. And if you deviate from the script, look, here we can talk, because I've lived through this. I mean, I've been courted by AIPAC. I was AIPAC's darling back in the day. They wanted me so bad it hurt. I was supposed to speak at the AIPAC convention and get the $6 million deal. I mean, people ask you how much you're worth. Well, AIPAC thought I was worth $6 million in 1998. That's what they put on the table for me to jump ship. And I told them to pound sand. And paid a little bit of a price ever since then. But so I know what it's like to have AIPAC put the squeeze on you. And I know how powerful AIPAC is. I was bird dog as I went around in Congress trying to stop the war in 2002. I had an AIPAC hit team coming in behind me. Every time I met with a senator and congressman, they slipped in and reminded them that how much money they took and what will happen if they listen to Scott Ritter. And so Washington, D.C. gets shut down. So, this is real. This isn't fake. This is as real as it gets. And I can sympathize with anybody who says that Charlie Kirk felt pressure, because if in fact he had the AIPAC Zionist hit teams put on him in terms of putting pressure, it's real pressure. It's real pressure. And they put pressure on I couldn't get a job. because everybody I wrote a letter to, the first letter come back is, oh, you've got a great resume. We're really interested in you, man. We'd like to have you. And then they got the phone call and they came back and said, no. When I followed up on it, they were told they would lose U.S. grants or they would lose foundational funding. And you know where the foundational funding comes from? Pro-Israeli Zionist billionaires who stack the deck in every single foundation in America so that they don't let people come and work who are ideologically incompatible with the Zionist vision. So it's real. It exists, Sabby. And I can understand how Charlie Kirk, if he was subjected to this, would have felt real pressure. It's not, there's a lot of people out there poo-pooing it. Now I'm here to tell you guys, it's as real as it gets.
Now, and if someone is converting from Protestant to Catholic, that also has an impact as well, right? Because Catholicism is different from the Protestant. This is the way I've because I grew up, Protestant, like non-denominational. At one point, I went to a Pentecostal church, and that was wild and crazy. But it's different from Catholicism because technically, under Catholicism, because you have a pope. Like, do you have that allegiance to Israel that is pushed from pastors in the Protestant denomination?
No, the Catholic Church. I mean, you can have the Catholics who are sympathetic to Israel, but it's a different kind of sympathy. I mean, it's a sympathy born of, never again and German guilt. Remember, the German Catholic Church turned its back on the Jews during Nazi Germany time before Nazis went after the German Catholic Church as well, and the Lutherans and others. The Christian Zionists, though, are not Catholic. You can't be a Christian Zionist and be a Catholic because the Catholics don't embrace the Book of Revelations the way that Christian Zionists do. They're not as enthralled with the rapture as Christian Zionists are. They aren't, seeking to promote Armageddon on a daily basis as the Christian Zionists are. Because for a Christian Zionist like a Mike Huckabee or a Ted Cruz, Armageddon is the greatest thing in the world. You guys, when I talk about Armageddon, that means the end of the world. They are actively promoting thermonuclear war because this brings about the rapture. This is a good thing. I don't know about you, but when I elect somebody to represent me in Congress, the House or the Senate, I want them working to better my life, better the life of my children, to work on the good future. So when Ted Cruz says that I ran for the Senate to basically serve Israel because I believe in the rapture, and first of all, it's as anti-American as it gets. But second of all, again, I'm not no theologian, but is he God infallible? I mean, in theory, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, God's infallible. God's all-knowing. God's all-powerful. God's all-seeing. God's all-wise. God has a plan. It's God's master plan. And so who are these Christian evangelical Zionists to say we need to help God bring about the rapture? We need to come into Congress and be pro-Israel so we can bring about the rapture. Because what you're saying is God needs help. God needs your help to bring about the end of days. Without you supporting Israel, God wouldn't be able to bring about the rapture. You want to help God push towards the rapture. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of that argument as far as I'm concerned. Because you can't, on the one hand, say that you believe in God, an all-powerful God, all-knowing God, and on the other hand, say that God needs your help to achieve the end of the world. If God wants the end of the world, I would imagine God who created the world could bring about the end of the world, and he doesn't need Ted Cruz's help.
Exactly. And this is the part I think a lot of people fall for. It's just like, you really believe that like they have to do these things for this to happen? If God is as powerful as you say that he is, then you're right. He wouldn't need Ted Cruz's help. Like it's so like, I don't know. I feel like this is common sense, but I feel like a lot of people just don't have common sense.
No, they don't.
Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.